Mark Isaacson, and I am proud to be the director of the Wastewater Treatment Division. And I often, when I have to address the county council, as I do in my job, I almost always introduce myself as Mark Isaacson, and I am proud to serve the people of King County as that director and work with my colleagues in the Wastewater Treatment Division who are profoundly dedicated to the water quality mission. So it's for that reason, I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to actually help us celebrate this event of opening our Murray Street, our Murray Wetland facility. This facility here, you've heard about, you're going to have some tours, some people are going to be here, but I would like to take this time to just introduce to you some very important people who have very important roles in this, and each one of them are going to make some comments about what's going on. And I think I will then be turning it over. At this point, I'd like to introduce Fred Jarrett, our Deputy County Executive. And I'd like to say, for Fred, I've known Fred for about 8 or 9 years, as he was actually one of the people who ran against the county executive. And the county executive recognized him as somebody who's like, I got to have him on my team. No, he said, I got to have him on my team because he's so good. Now, what Fred has done over time in his 8 years has helped us refine our delivery of community services, our delivery of governmental services, and Fred has played a very important role in our government. So I'd like to thank Fred, and I'd like to turn it over to Mike.
We actually first worked together about 15 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
When we were dealing with conflicts around the Growth Management Act and water quality in East King County. And so a part of the county that is very different than West Seattle. So it's been a real treat to be able to work with Mark. I wanted to just say, first off, I'm here as a representative, somebody who is a Dow Constantine, and who is been very supportive of the kinds of projects that we're dealing with here. We used to have 5 overflows a year on average, where we put stormwater and sewage directly into Puget Sound. And that's not what we want to do. That's not the kind of place that we want to live. And King County and its predecessors have a history dating back to the 1950s of actually trying to be national and world leaders in terms of water quality and treatment of stormwater and sewage. So this is a really important project for us, really important project to be able to improve the quality of Puget Sound. 1 million gallons, I mean, that is a lot of stormwater, and that takes a lot of pressure off of our sewage treatment system. And Mark can tell you that it is not a good thing when we have a failure of our sewage treatment system. So using facilities like this to be able to increase our capacity of heat and be able to do it in a cost-effective way is really important. The other thing that's really important is that if you look at the art that is associated with this, that staircase, central staircase, being able to get down to the beach, that I know is one of the things that's really important to the neighborhood. I think this is a project that we will be able to look to for years to come as an example of how we should do projects. And I want to thank you finally just for the work that you've done, inspiring us, giving us a vision, and keeping us on point to get this done and enduring the construction. I endured construction myself. I was mayor when Mercer Island, when I-90 was under construction. And I know what construction does to communities. So thank you very much for enduring. I think this is worth it. I hope you do too.
Thank you, Fred. And I would like to reiterate, we're all we're proud to deliver on the mission that we are a part of here with you. We thank you very much for enduring the construction season, the many construction seasons of this book. I would like to say a couple things. Just one thing, and I'll go off a little bit later on it later. But I wanted to point out that this roof right here, we do ask that you stay off of that roof. Okay, this is maybe just a public service announcement, but you know, I was telling my colleagues as we were preparing for this, y'all probably really don't care too much, but my first job out of college, I worked in a city where they had a beautiful lawn, and it was a big sign right in the middle of it that said, "Stay off the lawn." And it was right in the middle of a community that didn't have lawns, didn't have yards, children were playing catch with the baseball in the street. And the city government actually had the audacity to ask people to stay off their lawn. I complained to the city manager, and I didn't stay long at that city job. But I am proud to work for an agency that actually builds a facility and allows you to be a part of it, and wants you to be a part of it. We just don't want you to be on that roof. So I just wanted to say that. I'd like to introduce your council member, Joe McDermott. He chairs the King County Council. It plays a very, very important role for us. Every year we come before the county council and they bless and make changes and make astute changes and oversight of our county budget and programs that allow us to deliver these types of services. And with that, I'd like to introduce
Thank you, Mark. I want to thank Mark and Marla, who you'll hear from in a minute, about all of their work to protect Puget Sound, to protect salmon, to protect our waters. And that's really what this facility is about. This facility, though, the county, first came and talked to the community in 2009 and entered into a conversation to say, what would your vision be? What would you want? And it didn't surprise me a bit. This community took us up on that conversation, engaged us significantly, because since then, you've attended 12 community meetings, participated in no fewer than 8 advisory group meetings, invited our staff to attend 6 fairs and festivals, and 11 of your community meetings, and had nearly 1,000 conversations by email and telephone about this project itself. A very engaged community. Again, something that didn't surprise me in the least. And what did we hear? We heard about your values for the neighborhood and what you wanted this facility to reflect. We wanted to make sure that we reduced the industrial feel of the facility. We didn't have a monolith here, that it was as approachable as engaging for the community as possible. As Tracy has made sure that we were highlighting by the cameras, that we maximized the view of Puget Sound and the access to the beach and the water. That we discouraged through traffic to Beach Drive. And most importantly, that we did all we could to provide a connection to Lowland Park and the beach. That this was, despite the city streets dividing it, that this was as much a continuous flow to the beach in one park as possible. I'm pleased with what we've been able to do there. I look forward to when the park is fully seeded, the fence comes out, that connection feels even better. I've tracked and watched the development because I'm a runner. I live up in the Morgan Junction, and my running route takes me right through here and down through Lincoln Park. So in addition to those 1,000 phone calls and emails and 8 design review committee meetings, we also know part of the public process, part of the input on this program has included lights, signs, and duckies, making their views known as well. I certainly have seen those in my run regularly through the neighborhood, and all of that input, with concerns, with support, with encouragement, with suggestions, has brought us to a richer, more complete facility today. I want to thank all of you for that involvement in our community, and I want to thank Mark and Marla for putting it all into practice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce Marla first. But I wanted to say a few other things before I did that. As the director, any head of any organization knows that the work doesn't get done in the corner office. It just doesn't. And if you think it does, you're wrong. And especially those who are in that corner office. I know that. So in that sense, I would like everybody who was a King County Wastewater Treatment Division employee who participated at some level on this project or not to raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. We've got some retired folks who came back for this. Doug Marsano, who was here, who started out with this project under design. There's a lot of work that went into this. However, we all know the closer, the role of the closer who brought it home, and that's Marla. And some of the key things what Marla did is, I would like to say, is she brought this project in under budget, $250,000 under budget. Marla brought it in. We met our legal consent decree requirements. These are legal requirements that the federal government has put in us to get these projects done and done on time, and she brought it in within that as well. And she has reminded me that the fence will come down across the street. It'll be several months before that, the grass is, ready for play and for our children to play catch with the baseball and that. But it's going to be a little while. But with this, I'd like to turn it over to Marla and thank her for her excellent work.
So I just wanted to start by thanking you all tremendously for your patience. I know this was long overdue. These projects get construction fatigue pretty easy, but you were all very supportive, and I thank you. So I just wanted to give a little overview of the process. Design started in 2010, and construction started in 2014. Took about 3 years, a little over 3 years to complete. And we know it was a long road. We've been through a lot together. So early in design, 2010 to 2013, we had 2 public meetings and a design workshop in 2011. We used your feedback to develop design themes to help us guide the design process. We had a community design advisory group of your peers, and it was formed to act as a sounding board, so our project technical team could act as a liaison to you and your community. We had this 12-member group met 8 times in 2011, and 2012 to review and provide feedback to the county's design. So design for the facility was finalized in the winter of 2013, and then on to construction, which was 2014 to 2017. It started in January 2014, as you know. The first year of construction was preparation to build the underground storage tank. We deconstructed buildings that were here previously, stabilized the hillside along Lincoln Parkway, installed sea-camp piles to support the tank structure, and dug the soil out that would make room for the 1 million-gallon underground tank. To give you some perspective, the soil that was removed could have almost filled Coleman Pool twice. That's a lot of dirt. So during the second year of construction, we focused on building the tank. There were hundreds of concrete pours and thousands of hours spent installing steel and wood forms for each section of the tank. So our final year of construction was spent connecting the underground tank to the existing sewer system, constructing the facility building and equipment used to operate the tank, and restoring the site once the tank was operating. The facility became operational in November of 2016, and since going online, it has operated several times to hold the excess water for the stormwater and the wastewater during the heavy storms. So we know this was a long construction process. We're truly thankful for your engagement during the process. Your feedback helped us to manage all the concerns, and the project would not have been possible without your patience and support. So take some time, tour the facility. We thank you who've already done the post-construction customer survey. And if you haven't done so, they're at the booths. Do that for us, because that helps our community engagement efforts throughout the region. Thank you very much.